Hello, brothers and sisters Christ. This today the Lord has made. We'll rejoice and be glad in it. I'm gonna get to y'all what the Lord had me on. Y'all, there's so much going on, and the Lord had me start me off with about Doja Cat and how she was dressed up as a cat, and with some kind of awards they went to. Then later on, she got this cat, this demonized cat. But we know also they represent, and because back then, a while back, LaChina was talking about this cat. But the Lord had me talking about this an Egyptian cat that they worship.
Bastet is the cat goddess of Egyptian mythology. She is represented as a being with a woman's body and a cat's head. Cats were honored animals and considered sacred by the Egyptians.
And they raising up these gods of Egypt, and they all with the Pharaoh spirit, and they after the God's children. So this stuff that y'all see in Jerusalem with Israel and them with that war, let that know that that's coming this way, because the Lord also had me compare with Pharaoh, with Nazis, and Hitler. Because Doja Cat had this shirt on, and it was a Nazi comedian that she was talking about. But back then, a while back, we seen what Kanye West was talking about Nazis.
If you're not a Nazi, you don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
I see good things about Hitler also.
West has been saying and posting things like that for months.
But they was putting this in the atmosphere and raising up people, like raising it up so it was becoming more of a hate group, like raising calling on this Pharaoh spirit.
Advocates are sounding the alarm that anti-Semitism in the U.S. is becoming mainstream. The Anti-Defamation League has found acts of hate have been rising steadily. Last year, it tracked 2,717 anti-Semitic incidents throughout the United States, making it the highest number on record since ADL began tracking anti-Semitic incidents in 1979.
And it's going back into like the KKK and a while back, the Lord had told me about how we're going to go back into like with the Martin Luther King event, because they're going backwards. They're going back into this.
The Ku Klux Klan is the oldest terrorist group in the United States.
For 5,000 years, the white man has been the supreme race. We, the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, intend to keep it.
It's a secret society of white supremacists that preaches hatred of black people and which has lasted for decades, always managing to reinvent itself. Its crimes have caused bloodshed in America for over 150 years. 150 years of hatred, racism, and horror.
White power! I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
I don't believe in segregation, I believe in slavery.
Boys are coming under fire today for giving the Sieg Heil, the notorious Nazi salute. The image is going viral. How could these American boys make such a hateful gesture? 63 of them are seen in the photo, which was taken during junior prom last spring, and brings to mind the neo-Nazi march at the University of Virginia campus in 2017.
All this stuff is symbolizing. And with Doja Cat, also the Lord had me listen to one of her songs that she had not too long ago, like 2 months ago, was talking about Paint the Town Red. And this red on, this is blood. She talking about painting the town red, and this is represented also with them doing sacrificing. And with this war, this neo-Nazi, with the Nazi war, and with the KKK, y'all. Because the Lord also been telling me about comparing this war, how these Nazis and Hitler and Pharaoh's spirit, how they come back, how they was back in the days, in slavery days, they do sacrifices. And also they start creating these wars so they can have sacrifices in the middle of this war. So we need to be praying for people, y'all, for the military and everything, because they created this war thing and started saying this person against this person and creating these wars. And this is when they start doing their sacrifices. And this is October, y'all. So while they on this field and going to kill people in this war, creating this war and against people, this is sacrifices they're doing. And you know how they put more blood into the ground, and the Lord had told us a while back that the blood from the ground is gonna be crying out, because this how they put so much blood on this earth. And the Lord had me also with Moses again, have me about with Cicely Tyson, when she was a woman, about Moses. And the Lord still telling me about the second Exodus, y'all. But because God telling Pharaoh, Hitler, Nazis, Pharaohs, y'all know them old slavery mentalities, to let his people go. And he's sending plagues his way, and it's going to be death. But the Lord also told me in my spirit that reason why they create this war, because you know when they did that sickness, they thought people was going to really shut down and depend on them. But Satan really mad, because a lot of people start quitting their jobs, start creating their own businesses. A lot of people start having faith in the Lord. A lot of people are waking up to know who they are. And even some of the Gentiles, they waking up to see who the true Israel Hebrews are. Because also they start sending a lot of people down and putting people on their stuff, and a lot of people start selling their souls to the devil, getting famous on here. I seen a lot of YouTubers that starting to get famous, and like the Lord told me, I like with the celebrities and all them famous people, those are house Negroes, and what they doing is influencing more people to come in to to go over with Satan, because they don't make a deal with the devil. When you see Doja Cat and Kanye West and them, they house Negroes. Just not them, but it's a lot of people out there. They house Negroes, influencing people to come on to the other side so they can, because the Lord told me slavery. They want to influence people to continue to be a slave into Satan. In Egypt, Pharaoh, to these pharaohs. And why Satan came with that war so quick, God already knew it was going to happen, because people were set free. He know people are getting set free. And it didn't work like he thought it was going to work. So he tried to move quickly. But God allowed it to happen, because we in these end times, y'all. So let me give y'all Nahum 3.
Nahum 3. Woe to the bloody city! It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. The noise of a whip, and the noise of the rattling of the wheels, and of the prancing horses, and of the jumping chariots. The horseman lifteth up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain, and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favoured harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcrafts. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. And it shall come to pass that all they that look upon thee shall flee from thee, and say, Nineveh is laid waste. Who will bemoan her? Whence shall I seek comforters for thee? Art thou better than populous No, that was situate among the rivers, that had the waters round about it, whose rampart was the sea, and her wall was from the sea? Ethiopia and Egypt were her strength, and it was infinite. Put and Lubim were thy helpers. Yet was she carried away, she went into captivity. Her young children also were dashed in pieces at the top of all the streets, and they cast lots for her honourable men, and all her great men were bound in chains. Thou also shalt be drunken, thou shalt be hid. Thou also shalt seek strength because of the enemy. All thy strongholds shall be like fig trees with the first ripe figs. If they be shaken, they shall even fall into the mouth of the eater. Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. The gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thine enemies. The fire shall devour thy bars. Draw thee waters for the siege. Fortify thy strongholds. Go into clay, and tread the mortar. Make strong the brick kiln. There shall the fire devour thee. The sword shall cut thee off. It shall eat thee up like the cankerworm. Make thyself many as the cankerworm. Make thyself many as the locusts. Thou hast multiplied thy merchants above the stars of heaven. The cankerworm spoileth and flieth away. Thy crowned are as the locusts, and thy captains as the great grasshoppers, which camp in the hedges in the cold day. But when the sun ariseth, they flee away, and their place is not known where they are. Thy shepherds slumber, O king of Assyria. Thy nobles shall dwell in the dust. Thy people is scattered upon the mountains, and no man gathereth them. There is no healing of thy bruise. Thy wound is grievous. All that hear the bruit of thee shall clap the hands over thee. For upon whom hath not thy wickedness passed continually?
So, all this with all them doing and chanting and them songs and Beyonce and all, they just witchcraft. A lot of these witches and stuff, this is the time they doing all this stuff. And the Lord told me, also showing me about how they transfer witches with these cats. Because Doja Cat, they transfer, how they say they spirit, this is they tom-tom spirit or something. How they say this is their spirit. They try to say they're an owl, a cat, or whatever. But this is the spirit of transforming it. Because the Lord also showed me a video of where Doja Cat was a demon. Look like a cat with a tail, but it's a demon. But the Lord also told me about Marine Kingdom. Because a lot of them into these Egyptian practice, like Beyonce and them, they into the Marine Kingdom. But this one the Lord is telling me about the sword. But also, y'all, I seen in Egypt, they had an underground for where the Nazis were Hitler. An underground like a little museum. That's why the Lord told me they all connected together. These are Pharaoh spirits. They don't want to let God's children go. Like we going through the second Exodus. We going to the second Exodus. They don't want God's children to go. And they know that they make so much money off us. With the government, with they nothing without us. Because we built this, not only just saying black people, but you got Hispanics and all. Indians, they helped build this land. And they see people starting to wake up. Now they see people going forward and they want to keep them bound. But God said, let his people go. So they channeling this Pharaoh, Nazi, and Hitler spirit back. So they've been pushing this. And Y'all, the Lord also been telling me about a riot. And then he been telling me about Donald Trump, y'all. Something gonna happen with Donald Trump. And you know how back then Donald Trump had all these Nazis behind him. Something gonna happen to Donald Trump, and it's gonna call a riot. And it's gonna be, this might kick off what's gonna happen with the black and the white. This might kick off that KKK stuff. Something might happen to Trump that's gonna kick off these riots, and it's gonna kick off this hate, this white against black thing. But it's gonna kick that off back. Something gonna happen that's gonna start this. And when the Lord told me back then about that man that was taking place, talking about with the rainbows, all these people, they work together to do this, y'all. When the Lord told me about that Martin Luther King, he told us it's all going back to this, y'all. Keep your eyes on the Lord, y'all. So much witchcraft. This time we need to be up and praying and watching. And pray for people in the military, because people don't even know, and they blindsided. Because the Lord showed me a movie about some military men. And this is what the Lord, he putting all this together for me. But they used military, gave that false thing, talking about fought for the city, fought for their nation, and all this, and using people as sacrifices. They sacrificing people on the ground, in the wars and stuff. They killing God's children, doing sacrifices through the war. And she got that song talking about paint the town red, didn't have a Nazi shirt, y'all. And she tell y'all she a devil. But this woman right here, back then was Kanye West. Now it's her. And then Beyonce and them, they putting all this, y'all. Keep your eyes on the Lord, y'all. But the Lord gave me this about slavery. Woe to slave masters. Don't want to let people go. That's why God said, be ready for the second Exodus, y'all. But war, a fight. Y'all be blessed.